Hello, this is Jeanne, Scherer, Aquatic Invasive Species Outreach Specialist for UW-Madison's Division of Extension Natural Resources Institute. Welcome to this edition of Trainings in Small Bites. In this video, we're going to go over the AIS program's AIS Signage projects. I'll be using AIS, the acronym for Aquatic Invasive Species, and I also mention LMPN, which is the Lakes Monitoring and Protection Network. Back in 2010-2011, the Prevent the Spread version of the AIS boat launch sign was approved, and DNR staff and partners started replacing older AIS signs at all boat launches in the state. At this point, 10 or more years later, the Prevent the Spread sign is located at all launches unless the location is brand new or simply fell through the cracks. Occasionally, they also are stolen or damaged, so replacements are made as that is discovered. During the initial placement of the signs, a multi-page survey was used to collect locational information and entered into a special SWIMS project that pulled their data into the Lakes and AIS Viewer, which is the Wisconsin DNR map website we also use to see where reported AIS are located. When you turn on the sign layer, little icons of the sign show up at all the launches around the state that are listed in the project if a sign has been placed there and data entered for its placement. Having the information in SWIMS can also give you a downloadable list of where they are and should be within your county. When these signs went up, all of the older AI signs were to be removed, such as this little green one with the stop sign. You'll still see these at launches, but now and then, just now and then, and they can come down. So as time went by, we started adding some additional signage on the landscape. A stream and wetland access sign was developed for anglers, hunters, trappers, and paddlers. Several partners worked with Tim Campbell, who was our AIS communications specialist at the time, to develop large cleaning station signs that, in addition to the sign at the launch, could be placed near spots where boaters pull off to get ready to launch or leave. The signs give the usual inspect, remove, and drain instructions and have some tools hung on them, like brushes and grabbers, to help boaters do these steps. Tim also worked with people to develop some signs to go on top of boot brush stations to clean waders and boots. Another issue I found when I started working on this project in 2018 or so was that many of our newer partners or lake group partners would put up signs but not realize that they should also report their data to DNR and SWIMS. On top of that, the signage guide and reporting form were out of date. So why is this a big deal? A big reason is that every time there's a new AIS discovery, one of the first questions people ask is if there's an AIS sign by that lake, stream, or wetland. So the particular signs I'm talking about are all DNR approved. Besides the main boat launch sign I showed earlier, we have these. The first on the left is one of our boot brush stations with a sign. We have 4 designs created with waterfowl hunters in mind. These were created a few years ago and involved hunters and their dogs, making it a really cool project for those doing it. The dog and hunter photos used are of folks who go to Mead Wildlife Area. There's also a boot brush station sign for use along streams and other areas where the primary visitors we're targeting are wading and shoreline anglers. The center sign is that one and is used for along streams or where it might make sense at a wetland access point. The sign on the right is the cleaning station sign. So monitoring your signage is important. They hold up really, really well, but floods, boater accidents, vandalism, and theft sometimes are problems. This particular sign looks like it was both shot up and possibly degraded by weather. By making regular sign checks, you can get them replaced in a timely manner. So where do we start? Both partners and DNR staff can help with this. The primary time for DNR is if you're going out to a lake to help with clean boats, clean waters, or do some monitoring. Make note of if the sign is there, and if you aren't the person to replace a missing or damaged sign, contact the DNR AIS Regional Coordinator. Partners, you may have managing AIS signs as one of your grant deliverables. If your county is lake or river rich, this can be a huge job, so it helps to plan ahead. I suggest these 10 steps. Determine where signs are in your area. Plan to check low-risk signs every 2 to 3 years. Plan to check high-risk signs, such as those in areas prone to flooding, annually. Take advantage of opportunistic monitoring during other AIS work. Keep a couple copies of the sign monitoring form handy when you're out. Keep one or more boat launch and water user access signs and their hardware in your work vehicle to save trips. Ask your partners to report any sign needs and how to report when they put up a new sign or replacement. If installing new signs, contact property owners for permission. If new signs are needed, check with your regional DNR AIS coordinator. And report your data in SWIMS. Number 10, getting the data in SWIMS helps you, me, and DNR staff have a clear record to refer to and keeps the map on the Lakesend AIS viewer up to date. Before we go on to data, I want to mention that when it comes to putting up new signs, you should also work directly with the launch owner to make sure they know what's going on and give permissions. If you're simply replacing a sign, at least make contact to see if they're already planning to do it and have the sign available or need one. Maybe they'll offer to take the sign and get it up for you. Also, there are times where signs have been put up that actually violate a local rule. For example, I once got the city of Fort Atkinson to help put them on an existing post at a Rock River launch, but it turned out the space on that post was where the county posted high water warning signs, so it had to be moved. There are ways in SWIMS and on WDNR's Find a Lakes page to find the owner information, but it may be undergoing some changes at the time I'm recording this, so I don't cover that here. If you need help finding this information, contact the AIS Regional Coordinator. An additional step to be aware of if you're working on WDNR owned properties, you must get a land use agreement and have the property manager on board to do anything other than just replacing the launch sign. Even in the case of replacing a sign, I'd still check in just in case they have plans to make changes to the launch or already have it on their work list. They may appreciate your stepping in to do it for them. So let's move on to data. County, LMPN staff, and others involved should have a signage location project in your project list. Let DNR SWIMS at wisconsin.gov know if you don't have it. We'll take a look at the actual reporting form in a moment. Other lake and river partners can also add this data to SWIMS, but if they don't have access, they should still fill out the reporting form and give it to the DNR AIS coordinator or a county AIS partner, and they can send it to me through DNR AIS info@wisconsin.gov or mail this address, WDNR AIS Outreach Specialist /W-4 PO Box 7921 Madison, Wisconsin 53707-7921. Here's our form. The very top is the usual information, although I see we forgot to add the mailing address. I've highlighted the part about landowners and WDNR. Below that is a section for who did the work and the location. We always want this to be as specific as possible. Sometimes I've gotten these in and it just has the lake name. That's not helpful if the lake has more than one launch. Plus, it helps to know if they put the sign somewhere other than the preferred location at the end of a dock, which is sometimes the case due to launch configurations. As you see, the form is set up for reporting new signs, monitoring sign conditions, replacement, or other. Other could be something like it was an incidental stop and you're actually there to do AIS monitoring, but you replace a missing sign with one you carry along just to have it handy when you see these needs. On the bottom, you can add up to 4 different sign reports for a site. This is handy if the launch is large and has a couple of the main signs, or maybe there's also cleaning stations or a boot brush station. If you actually have even more than 4 signs, use a second copy of the form or add the information on the back. So far, we haven't had to add additional lines to the version of the form in SWIMS, but we could if necessary. If you need a sign, both the boat landing and stream access signs are free for anyone who needs them. The launch signs can't be shipped from Madison, so we have them at WDNR offices and some partner offices around the state for easier access. Just contact your regional DNR AIS coordinator, point of contact, to get them. The stream access signs can be ordered through DNR AIS info at wisconsin.gov. Boot brush station signs and the cleaning station signs are not free, although sometimes people can get money to have them made through a grant. Otherwise, those who want them can get the PDF from the AIS program and have them printed themselves. PDFs are also in the box signage folder. Materials for building supports or post and mounting hardware are not provided either. Occasionally, we do have some of the boot brush station signs in the warehouse for the angler focus, so always check with me to find out. In fact, here it is. As of October 21, when I recorded this video, there are some wading/shoreline angler signs available for free in the warehouse. Contact DNR AIS info at wisconsin.gov. We have a signage guide available on Box along with the PDFs and the directions for boot brush stations. I can also email this guide to anyone. There is an AIS signage page on the DNR website. However, it may not be up to date when you view this video. If you open it and see Tim Campbell's name as the contact or references only to the 2011 AIS sign efforts, it has not been corrected yet. Contact the AIS info email address instead or me. We never do our AIS prevention work in a vacuum. To update our sign guide, several of us work together. Chris Acey, Patricia Cicero, Natalie Dutak, Tim Campbell, Jeff Jackson, Amanda Smith, Kyle Mosel, Chris Hamela, Kathy Higley, Brock Woods, and Matt Walrath. Thank you all for your input. Again, if you need any help with your signage project, please contact me directly or through DNR AIS info at wisconsin.gov. Thank you.